As you know, paddle is highly addictive.
You don't have to be as skilled.
No, it's very quickly, turn around for you to start actually getting balls back and forth.
What have been the biggest challenges so far in
Educating people. Let them know that it's okay, you're not betraying tennis or the tennis gods.
How are you seeing the interaction of the evolution of tennis, paddle, and pickleball together?
I mean, the guys that we can hear in the background is their fifth time this week coming to play.
Have such a high demand for indoor sports activities during the winter. So just one more sport asking for space.
It's more social than any other sport.
What advice would you give somebody who's talking about opening a paddle? When I ask them, when are you coming to try paddle? They're like, no, tennis is my thing. And I'm like, you know what? Pizza is my favorite dish ever. Does that mean it's all I ever want to eat for the rest of my life?
Well, if you ask my kids, maybe.
What's up, everybody? This is Paul, and welcome to my YouTube channel. The idea of this channel is going to be to talk about all things paddle and otherwise in North America specifically, maybe focusing on different aspects of the industry, business aspects, but also trying to meet as many people, interview them, see clubs, how they work, in order for you to get a little peek of what is going on, how a club is run, ideas that people have, interesting personalities. Hopefully you enjoy the content, and I look forward to presenting you the next one.
Welcome everybody. This is my first interview, my first experience as a YouTuber, and I'm here with Jorge Vila from Visa Consulting. Jorge, how are you?
Very good call yourself.
Very good, thank you. Jorge is originally from Mexico, and he's been living in Canada for 23 years now. He's been coaching tennis for over 30 years and manages a consulting company with his brother called Visa Consulting for tennis and racket sports, and now is the club manager for Padel Friends in Ottawa, the first paddle club in Ottawa. Jorge, how's it going so far?
So far, it's been great. I mean, we didn't know Ottawa had such a big community of paddle players, and it's great to see them coming out of the woodworks and seeing them play now in the three indoor facility that we have. And people are excited, and obviously we want to grow it, right?
Yeah. How long has it been now?
It's been exactly a month, 32 days that we've been open. We have a soft launch June 22nd. We've been open since. It's been great. Like, it's been great to see so many people that are aware of, and obviously our job is to make sure that we quadruple the amount of people that are coming here.
Of course. There's already been an outdoor court for a while now. What was the experience with that court, and what do you expect that is going to happen in the next year with the court and the transition for the new players? Or how has the court helped paddle so far and you guys?
Yeah, so the court has been quite interesting because it's a court that is obviously it's not turf, it's tile. So as an intro for players to get to know the sport is great because it gives you an idea what paddle is all about, the bounce off the walls and things like that. Obviously that helps grow the sport in general. And then once they step on this court, which is an actual turf, and the glass is thicker, the bounce is completely different. Again, it's any court that we put in Ottawa, or anybody puts in Ottawa, is going to help the sport, and that's what we want to grow.
Yeah. I think the same situation is in Montreal right now. We're seeing some people that are a little bit cautious about sharing, about collaborating, because they think we're in competition. But right now, the biggest vision is to grow the sport.
Correct.
So I heard there's a bunch of Swedish friends behind.
There's a few, and I mean, if you look at the furniture, pretty much. And there's
IKEA?
Definitely IKEA. They know me by my first name now when I go there to the store. Two friends. One of them is involved in the tech industry, the IT, and the other one is heavily involved in hockey, professional hockey. Daniel Offerson. Yeah, he played for the Ottawa Sens. He's a big name in the community, and the dream started with them putting it back in Sweden. Seeing the sport, how it was growing, and then they wanted to have something here in Ottawa because they reside here, right? Yeah. They decided to get together. They was like, you know what, paddle is a place that you can go with your friends and hang out because, as you know, paddle is played at 4 all the time. Yeah. So this is how their dream started. Now we're here.
As a club, what is the profile that aspire to have, the proposition beyond just coming to play?
Yeah. So what we wanted to build in this place is a place that is not like any other club. Like for example, like you go, you play, and then you get out, right?
Yeah.
We want people to feel comfortable, even if they're not here to play.
Yeah.
They can come and sit down, hang out, have coffee, watch TV, watch their friends play. Like we want this to be a hub for paddle enthusiasts.
This social area, I love it because everything, all the doors, everything is looking towards the center, and you see the courts. So it really centralizes. It makes the social area like a centerpiece of the whole club. Even the clubs seem a little peripheral, but of course that's what we come for. But that's holiness. You feel like if you're here, you're part of what's going on.
Correct. Yeah, and that was the main goal. And then on the other area we have back there is where the courts are. So there's also
More
a sitting
tables.
area where you're looking at least at two main courts, and then you can see the first court behind us. It's just getting people excited to get on court, right?
Yeah.
Alongside the warm-up area with the bikes up.
I'll make a tour afterwards when you
Awesome.
start with your class, and I'll walk the people through and show them. So, what got you inspired to get involved in paddle as a tennis player and tennis coach?
I played back home, right? As you know, paddle comes from Mexico, so. But it was kind of funny because even though it was invented in Mexico, it wasn't big, I guess, in the 80s. It wasn't as popular as tennis was.
Yeah.
My father had a tennis academy back home, so obviously my life was tennis. But played paddle here and there, and then, tennis became our everyday thing.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, I was talking to my brother, and he saw sort of how things were transforming in the U.S. with paddle and so on. So I told him, today, why don't we go take a course? Let's see what the course is all about, because we've been taking courses with Tennis Canada, tennis, pickleball. My brother's working for beach tennis with Tennis Canada, so we're all about educating ourselves and being able to provide a better service for people. So we went down to Orlando to the USTA campus to take the course, and we're here now.
Yeah.
We haven't looked back.
Yeah. Well, you saw that it was coming to America. We're late to the game, but it's happening. Now, as a tennis coach, how would you describe that paddle differs from tennis in terms of audience? What we're looking for as a club?
I don't think there's many differences. I think if so, paddle can capture a larger audience because you don't have as big of a court to cover, right? And you also have the walls that help you a little bit. So if somebody hits the ball really hard, as we played yesterday, and you can be standing what we call to be at the net, and that ball can come back just where you're standing.
Yeah.
Versus tennis, you got to go chase it.
Yeah.
Right? So yes, okay, that doesn't mean that it's not a physical sport. It's very physical when you get to a higher level. But I think in terms of, just let's look at how long points last. Points last 60% longer than in tennis. So if you want to come and want to get a better workout, let's say, or if you want to play longer points, well, paddle is your answer.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't have to be as skilled to start enjoying it.
No, it's very quickly, turn around for you to start actually getting balls back and forth. Tennis, I mean, the way I see it, the tennis learning curve goes this way. The paddle stays within range, but if obviously you want to get to the next level, it's super tactical, and then there's a lot more technique that is involved, and then starts creeping up towards the tennis side.
Yeah.
But because tennis, you only have one crack at the ball,
Yeah.
it becomes very technical oriented to get into, how to hit the ball, the different angles, the launch angles, stuff like that. We're here, you miss the ball, well, guess what? Turn around, bouncing off the glass, you get a second crack at it, right?
I got a few.
Yeah.
What have been the biggest challenges so far in opening up?
I think the education of people, right? Like educating them to let them know that it's okay, you're not betraying tennis, or the tennis gods, or the pickleball gods, or the squash gods for that matter. That it's okay to come try a different tennis sport. As you know, paddle is highly addictive. Like as soon as you start playing points, you start having fun with your friends. It's very social. You just get hooked, right? Like I mean, the guys that we can hear in the background, I think 2 of them is their 5th time this week coming to play. and it not spaced out. Like one guy was laughing because he was here yesterday afternoon, right? So it's highly addictive, but it's okay. Like it's okay to come and play. It's okay to come and enjoy it. It's more social than any other sport because of you need that four players.
Yeah. Something that I tell other people when I ask them, when are you coming to try paddle? It's like, no, tennis is my thing. And I'm like, you know what? I could tell you that pizza is my favorite dish ever. But does that mean it's all I ever want to eat for the rest of my life?
Well, if you ask my kids, maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe their answer right now.
Yeah, maybe as a kid, yes. Do you have any insights on how you personally, on your managing style for a club, that you feel you brought over from your experience as a tennis coach or as a person who comes from the tennis world?
So very similar. I think that the managing of the club doesn't matter what sport you do. It's very similar, right? Like you have to make sure that you engage the people as they walk in. You want to make sure they feel welcome. When they come in, all they see is somebody that is happy. Smiling. And you know, you ask people that I've coached tennis for years, it's always me. I'm always like on high, always smiling, always happy. Because I'm happy. I'm truly happy to see people come on the court and play. In terms of structure, again, it's the same. Like you run clinics just like you run tennis, just like you run pickleball. So there has to be certain offerings for people to feel like, you know, hey, they're thinking about us, beginner, intermediate, and advanced. And, you know, as we grow and as we get more into the weeds of opening and receiving more people, obviously programs are going to be evolving. Socials are going to be a big part of this. Tournaments, we're working with Padel Canada to make sure that we have some tournaments. You know, we've been asked about Masters, right? There's a lot of young players in Ottawa that play really good Padel, and also in Montreal and Toronto. But then you have the older crowd that they want to play and they'll play against them, but they would like to have their own little group of tournaments for them to actually play and win something. So yeah, as we go, we roll with the punches and start creating things for everybody.
Yeah, so basically making every different group that's part of your community feel recognized in the offering.
Correct.
And also a lot of the sport experience. When you arrive and you're sitting around, not only what you offer for the court part.
Correct. That's huge. That's huge. And you know, one of the things that I pride myself and we pride as a consultant, for example, as a group, is that we're always making sure that people, you know, we're offering a service, right? As a Padel Friends and as a consultant, we're offering a service. So when you come here, you're not just getting your service there, but you're also getting everything else that comes with it. Right?
Yeah.
Make sure you feel welcome.
Yes, from the moment you get in the door.
Exactly.
Or even after.
Exactly.
How do you see the growth of paddle in Canada personally?
I think it's not going to be as fast as it is in the US, but it's going to be pretty strong. Like it's already pretty strong in Toronto, Montreal, and in Calgary, right? It will be probably, I'd say, over the next 5 years, it will be a huge development for the sport as a whole, because Padel Canada is going to start working more in junior development, right? Junior development is huge. Old fools like us, we have maybe another, call it 20, 30 years of paddle, but we need to feed the ones from behind, like from underneath us, which are the younger crowd. And hopefully one day we will have a circuit like the OTA and the Ontario Tennis Association in Quebec, where you have your U12s, U14s, U16s. It will take some time, but I'm looking forward to see the day when that happens.
Thinking about this a little bit more, we have such a high demand for indoor sports activities during the winter, given climate. So this is one more sport asking for space.
Yep.
Do you have any thoughts about that?
And then, I mean, you hit it right on that nail there. In Ottawa, for example, we have like 14 indoor tennis courts.
Courts, not clubs.
14 indoor tennis, and that's amongst 3 or 4 clubs that are around the area.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's it.
The moment you start doing, you know, high performance training, you just took at least half of those courts for like 3-4 hours, right? So what are the other hours left for adult programs? You can only fit 4 or 5 people. If you're cramming 6 people in one court, in a tennis court, you're not doing the right service to people, right? So obviously some places do it because, you know,
You have to pay the bills.
yeah, right?
Or because there's such a high demand,
But then the learning curve just gets stagnant.
Yeah.
Right? Is it development? Is it revenue? Yes, there has to be a balance for both. But yes, like you said, indoor sports like this, for example, having this street court here, it's great because that opens up for other people. I know some people that in the summer they play 15 hours of tennis, and in the winter they play 3
Yeah.
because they can't find it.
It's not surprising.
Right?
Do you think that government support is a must for this situation, or will it stagnate and slow down the growth too much because of bureaucracy and we need to have private investors get it going as much as possible?
There has to be some support for investors to be, you know, happy to say, okay, well, you know what, I'll jump in if the government gives me a grant, or Canada or whoever it is gives me a grant, rather than them having to put everything every time, right? So yeah, it's very important for the government, not just the actual government, but like the sporting associations, look at this and say, hey, listen, like this is happening in other countries. maybe we should take a look at it.
Yeah.
Right? Because look at the growth in the States. Like they're opening a paddle club like almost every weekend.
Yeah.
Every weekend there's a pop-up. Like, hey, there's a new one now in like Chesterville. You know, like it's like places that you can't even think of. There's going to be a paddle club. It's right there. So yes, like I said, it's coming this way. The wave has already landed in Canada a couple of years ago. Well, 92 in Calgary, but like in our side.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to keep growing. It's going to keep developing. But yes, definitely the help of the government would be crucial to this.
Tell us a little bit about your consulting company and how it complements your work at the club.
My brother started this company back in 2011. He started running a couple of summer clubs, organizing the clinics, running programs, summer camps, stuff like that. He got to a point that he had 2 or 3. I was working in the IT industry, and then he called me. He's like, "Hey, I need help coaching," and this is actually a very funny story. So I'm like, "Yeah, well, it depends. I travel. So I used to travel to US quite a bit. But like, yeah, I can help you a couple of days." Like, yeah, just 5 hours. I'm like, all right. So 5 hours turned very quickly into 20 hours a week. And then 20 hours a week turned into like pretty much a full-time job. So every time I would finish, every day I would finish my job, 5 p.m., 6 p.m., we would run to the tennis club and start coaching there. And we sat down and I said, okay, well, what are we going to do? Are we going to just keep going with 2, 3 clubs, or are we going to grow this, the company as a whole? So we decided that we'll start talking to other places. So now we manage a pickleball club in the West End. My brother pioneered beach tennis here in Ottawa, so we're teaching that out of another club. Just had an ITF tournament a couple of weekends ago, which is huge for Canada. And then obviously with the paddle club now, this is more like my full time. Like I'm doing this full time, and then in the evenings when I have time, I go and coach pickleball, coach tennis, and then also we have the tennis club. So it's been busy, but it's been great. So one of the things that we do is like we have a number of people that we staff coaches. So when you hire Best Consulting, you're not just hiring the group and then you have to go look for the staff. We already bring the staff with us, right? We already bring vetted coaches that have been with us for a couple of years, all certified, all insured. So when we come in, it's pretty much like a turnkey. Just hand us the keys, we deliver.
Nice. The famous question. How are you seeing the interaction of the evolution of tennis, paddle, and pickleball together? Why not beach tennis as well? How do you see these dynamics working together?
There's people for everything, right? Like obviously beach tennis is a little bit different than most of the sports because, you're playing in the sand, you're part of to be more physical about it. So a lot of volleyball players are starting to discover beach tennis, and mostly because, for example, when you play volleyball in your social groups, there's 6 players on one side, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't get to touch the ball for like 5, 7 minutes. Beach tennis, play doubles, you get to touch the ball pretty much every single point.
Yeah.
Right? The dynamic is kind of interesting. So obviously, some tennis players, they can't even think of the idea of playing pickleball. Some have actually ventured into pickleball. They like it, so they're complementing the lack of hours in the winter to play pickleball in the winter. In the summer, well, they decide whether they want to play one or the other.
There's more courts.
There's more courts.
pickleball.
Yeah, pickleball, again, it's another sport that is growing at an exponential rate. And it's because the ease of creating a court or putting a court together, right? Like you just need a concrete slab. You can put the lines and play there, or obviously some clubs decide to put the nice paint, the gritty paint, and make it a little nicer, which obviously makes a lot more sense. And then paddle. So it's all going to complement. I think at the end of the day, all the racket sports are going to complement each other. Because if, for example, you're a pickleball player and it keeps growing because it's still growing, you can't find any courts, and then you go sign into your system, you see that there's an open court. Well, you know what? Let's go give it a try, right? And then they'll come give it a try, and they'll make their decision whether they keep both sports or they keep one or they keep the other. So I think it's good for everybody, right? At least gets everybody that tries any of the sports, you put a racket in their hands, and somehow, somewhat can be translated from one sport to the other. At least the hand-eye coordination is a big piece.
Absolutely. And there's something about hitting the ball with a racket or a paddle that is addictive, regardless of what shape or form it has.
100%.
Yeah. How are you engaging with the community today in order to grow the sport? What kind of suggestions can you give to?
Well, there's a lot of social media aspect that needs to happen. We're constantly posting. Like I mentioned yesterday, we're still fighting with Google to let us own the business so that we can post the address of the business. So that's obviously something that it's a bit of a hurdle because people, if they look Padel Ottawa, will pop up, but there's no address on the Google site. So hopefully soon we'll get that sorted out. But yeah, social media, word of mouth. Like I've talked to a couple of companies to start doing corporate events, and I think that is going to be the way to get this sport into the spotlight. To say, hey, like we just went there and we played paddle for like 2 hours. Like it was great. You guys should check it out. And then that goes to another company and another company and another company, and then that's sort of the way that I think it's the only way that we can do it. Yeah, right? Mainly because ESPN, TSN are not showing paddle, right? So.
But everybody's watching it on TikTok.
Yes, everyone.
Instagram.
Absolutely. I mean, I put here paddle all day in the club. YouTube, you can find it if anybody's kind of curious to see what it is. Just watch it. It's super fun. It might look super fast. It might look scary because of the glass walls. It's not. It's a lot of fun. It's highly addictive, and
we're certainly not playing the paddle that you see in the screen. I'll speak for myself.
Lower pace.
The level of pressure, but
that's it.
All right. Well, what advice would you give somebody who's talking about opening a paddle?
Do research. Location is huge. We're located in an industrial area, but we're really close to the highway, so we're super accessible. But before that, I think one of the biggest things you can do is consider what courts you're going to put on, right? Because courts range from anywhere 50 to like $120,000. So just see what there is and talk to other owners of clubs or managers. Talk to them about the experience. I've had really good experience with a couple of owners and then partners of several clubs, just discussing information. They're very open to share insights, which is great. You and I spoke a lot when I took on this position. And then we've had a couple of owners from other clubs in Toronto coming over and stopping by and saying hi. And we've exchanged information and we're constantly talking and trying to figure out how can we grow the sport together.
I like that about the paddle world in North America today, even internationally. Even though it may look like it's a big world, it's very small actually, and we're all kind of sailing down the same river.
Yep.
And we are very happy to share our insights and experiences and try to see each other succeed.
Exactly. And I think this is something that other racket sports could learn and use because and obviously in the tennis world it's like
Cutthroat.
It's a big no. Like you don't just call the owner of the other club and ask them how they're doing. They'll be like, yeah. So this is great to see because at the end of the day, like for example with Padel Ranch, per se, we want to create a social environment where we bring players to Montreal, and then from Montreal they come over here, in the winter, for example, right? And for us in the summer, where we're playing indoors, where we want to go play outside, and there's no other club that we can go play that has multiple courts, so we go over there.
Yeah.
So that's the type of thing that I think to help the sport grow and keep the word, like spreading the word, it's going to be a huge part of the success of the sport.
Yeah. Well, that's it, Jorge. Thank you so much for giving me your time on a Saturday morning. I know you're crazy busy with the club, and I really appreciate it. So I want to wish you all the best of luck. You know that I'm here for anything that you need, and looking forward to beating you next time.
Thank you, Paul.
Thanks, Jorge.
No,